Okay, so I had a look at your website and I can see that one of your key flagship products there is Nightwatchman. Could you just maybe give a quick introduction to describe exactly what it does?
Well, what Nightwatchman does is it helps organizations save a lot of power across their PC and Mac estate by switching off computers when they're not doing anything useful. So when a user's not using them and they may have gone home overnight, then we can save a lot of power by putting the machine into a low power state, such as a standby state. The key to saving power that we've realized over the last 10 years is that the user should never be disrupted from doing their work. Across a year, we can save roughly about 25 pounds or $36 worth of energy. Now, actually, if I disrupt the user even by an hour, I'm really obviating any of the savings. And so, what Nightwatchman does is make sure that the user's happy, and make sure the IT department's happy, that they can patch those machines at night and weekends, and we still save power, and we report on it.
Right. Okay. And so that I suppose that's the real key thing there is not actually to affect the user, because I mean that's the reason that you walk past offices in the evening and everything is still switched on, because the people want to walk in the morning and they can pick up where they left off at.
Absolutely. If you disrupt the user in any way, the user will ask, quite rightly so, for this energy saving practice not to happen.
Yeah.
And so, over the last sort of 10 years, over 5 generations of our technology, what we've found is we've actually really built in a lot of features that make sure that the key stakeholders, which are the user themselves, the IT department, and the people who want to save energy in the organization, all their requirements are met. We've had a lot of experience in this. We've sold roughly about 7 million, about 5 million licenses of this technology. And the experiences we've had with very, very large organizations such as AT&T and HSBC have actually made us realize that we can really help these organizations save power and keep their user community happy.
Right. So why do the major operating systems not just build in this kind of technology?
It is all about complexity in terms of ensuring that you've got sufficient insight in the application itself and intelligence in the application itself, so that it can figure out when the user is actually using the computer, when they're not using the computer. Have they just gone to a meeting? Maybe in the day you don't want to save as much power. Are they running an application, for example? They might be working from home, which many of us want to these days, but they still want to get data from their work computer. Can they just access that work computer, switch it on, get the data, and carry on working? A lot of features needed to make sure that the user is never disrupted. And quite frankly, the operating systems just don't have these technologies built in.
So are we seeing a more complex or a very changing, almost like an era of the office itself? I mean, are we seeing the estate changing, and there's a new model of the consumption of IT power and services out there?
We are certainly finding that most organizations today are designing for users that may be working from remote sites. They may not be coming into the office very often, and actually it creates a whole new set of problems. Yeah, the user often cannot just walk down the corridor to an IT person and actually ask for support. So when the computer doesn't quite work right, they actually get highly frustrated because they might be 5 hours away from work. So one of the key features we built into our Nightwatchman Wake Up technologies was one around client health. Let's try and figure out, even when a computer is remote, that it's not performing properly. Let's try and figure out when the user may be affected by misconfiguration on that computer, or the computer is starting to become faulty. If we can fix it automatically, we will fix it, and if we can't fix it, we'll just report that information. And what we found is this actually allows us to keep the user happier.
Yeah. So do you think then that, I mean, one of the changes here that we're seeing is people are having different expectations of the kind of technology they can use at work, because as consumers they see so much better technology available at home?
Sure, and we're certainly seeing a wide-scale adoption of Windows 7, primarily because the users themselves are driving their IT departments to going to this new technology. Because many IT departments in large companies have certainly avoided Vista, and they're still running XP. They haven't gone into a later operating system. And now the users are saying, well, my experience at home is entirely different from my experience at work. I don't want that anymore. I want something that's much more consumable as a service. And we're certainly seeing that today.